What mistakes newcomers to relationships make that make things go wrong for them? Alright, so here's the thing, relationships are messy. No one's perfect, and trust me, there are so many dumb mistakes people make when they're first getting into them. I remember the first time I really fell for someone, I was absolutely clueless about a lot of stuff. I thought I was being smooth, playing it cool, but really I was just screwing things up. For example, one of the first things I did wrong was try to prove how great I was by acting super chill and never showing too much interest. I thought if I kept my distance, she'd think I was mysterious or something. Nope. Turns out, the lack of effort just made me seem disinterested, like I wasn't really into her. The whole "I'm too cool for this" vibe is way overrated. Turns out, women like it when you show interest. Crazy, right? But that was just the start. As things progressed, I kept making more and more mistakes. I'll get into the rest later, but that first big one. Yikes.
Haha, oh man, I've been there. I thought being all distant and mysterious was the way to go when I started dating my ex. I'd barely text, and if she called me, I'd be like, "I'm busy," or leave her on read for hours. Thought I was being cool. You know, not acting clingy or desperate. But surprise, surprise, it backfired. She didn't like that at all, and after a few months, I found myself single again, wondering what the heck went wrong. If I could give one piece of advice to anyone starting a relationship, it's to just be real. Don't play games. That stuff never works out.
Same. I did the same thing with my now girlfriend. I thought I was just being casual by not texting all day. But turns out she felt like I didn't care enough, and it really freaked her out. I had to do some major damage control to get things back on track. Honestly, if you're not actively showing interest, you're just sending the wrong message. Show up, be present, ask about their day, stuff like that. It goes a long way.
So, here's a little advice for all you newcomers to relationships. Don't overthink it. I know, easier said than done, right? But I was once that person who tried way too hard to be perfect. You know, trying to say all the right things, doing all the right things, always acting like I had everything under control. Spoiler alert, it wasn't cute. I mean, I'd obsess over making sure I didn't text too much or too little, or whether I should hold my hand like this or like that. It was honestly exhausting. Looking back, my first real relationship was full of me trying to pretend to be something I wasn't. I didn't want to seem too eager or needy, so I'd play it cool, but honestly, she could tell. You know what they say, fake it till you make it. Well, it doesn't work when it comes to relationships. You gotta be yourself from the start. If you're overthinking every little thing, it'll show, and you're just making things harder than they need to be.
Bro, that hits hard. I was that guy in my first relationship. Play it way too cool. I remember literally timing how long I should wait to text back. I'd wait like 30 minutes, then pretend I was busy. What I didn't realize was I was coming off as a robot, not cool. My ex called me out on it once, and I was like, "Wait, you don't like that I'm not always texting you?" Yeah, I learned my lesson. Now, if I'm into someone, I'm open and honest about it. Overthinking just makes everything awkward.
I feel you, dude. Been there, done that. My biggest mistake was holding back because I didn't want to scare them away. I played so cool. She thought I wasn't into her. By the time I actually started showing affection, it was too late. She had already moved on. What I've learned: if you're into someone, show it. If you like them, text them back. Don't hold off like you're doing them a favor. It's all about balance, not playing mind games.
Oh, same here. I used to think playing hard to get was the key. Like, if I didn't text back within 5 minutes, I'd seem more desirable. But nah, it just made me seem uninterested. One thing I wish I'd known earlier: communication is key. If I had just been honest and open about my feelings from the start, I would have saved myself a lot of heartbreak. So yeah, if you're just starting out in a relationship, don't play these weird games. Be upfront, be yourself, and don't try to be someone you're not.
Alright, let's talk about communication. And I mean real communication, not just the "hey, how's it going?" every few days. When you're in a relationship, talking about things is way more important than you think. I mean, I know I was super guilty of avoiding difficult conversations when I first started dating. I didn't want to rock the boat, you know? So when something bothered me, I'd bottle it up. But you know what happens when you bottle things up? They explode later. And not in the cute, We're gonna have a tough conversation but grow stronger kind of way. More like a, this is my emotional grenade, and it's about to go off in your face kind of way. Yeah, fun times. The first big fight I had in a relationship was because I didn't speak up early. If I had just said something when I felt a little irritated, it would have been nothing. But because I waited, it turned into this huge issue. The lesson here is simple: don't avoid hard talks. If something's bothering you, talk it out, even if it's awkward.
Oh, God, this was me. I would literally let stuff build up until it became a mountain of frustration. Then I'd explode. I remember one time my ex was a bit late picking me up, and instead of just saying, "Hey, this upset me," I kept it to myself. Then, like a week later, she did something else that annoyed me, and I snapped. She was like, "What's going on? Why are you suddenly mad?" And I realized I'd been holding on to random little things. Communication is everything. Now, I tell people up front when something's bothering me. No more silent treatment. It's healthier, trust me.
I used to be that guy who really thought I could avoid drama by keeping everything in. Worst mistake ever. The amount of times I'd say, "I'm fine," when I wasn't. I cringed thinking about it. Then I'd act all moody, and they'd be like, "What's wrong?" And I'd just be like, "Nothing." It got so bad that it almost ended one of my relationships. Now I get it. If something's off, I say it. It doesn't have to be dramatic. Just be honest. You'd be surprised how much clearer things get when you actually talk about stuff instead of hoping it fixes itself.
For real, if you're not talking about your feelings, you're probably building a ticking time bomb. I learned that the hard way. My first relationship, I thought being chill and avoiding confrontation was the way to go. Nope. Eventually, all the little things started stacking up, and by the time we finally had the talk, it was a disaster. If you care about someone, you have to have those awkward convos. It doesn't mean you're weak or needy, it's how you avoid the bigger mess later.
Okay, let's dive into trust, and how easily it gets messed up, especially when you're new to relationships. One of my biggest mistakes was not realizing how fragile trust is in the beginning. I was super paranoid. I'd check my partner's social media, ask where they were constantly, and basically make myself look like a total psycho without realizing it. Like, imagine you're dating someone and every time they don't respond to your text in 2 minutes, you start spiraling into, are they mad at me? Or who are they with? Not cute. And the worst part? It wasn't even because I didn't trust them, it was because I didn't trust myself enough. I wasn't secure enough to just let things happen and trust that they'd be fine. I thought the only way to secure my place in their life was to be all up in their business. Spoiler alert, that never works. It's suffocating. Trust is something you build, and it takes time. If you're constantly acting jealous or suspicious, you're pushing the person you care about away.
Ugh. I feel like I'm reading about myself. I was the king of being suspicious. If my ex didn't text me back right away, I'd freak out. I remember checking their Instagram like a creep, trying to figure out if they were talking to someone else. Honestly, it was exhausting for both of us. I wasn't insecure because I didn't trust her, but because I was too insecure with myself. I was afraid of being abandoned, so I tried to control everything. It made the relationship feel so toxic. But once I learned to trust and stop overanalyzing every little thing, things got so much better. Now, if I'm dating someone, I trust them until given a reason not to.
Yes, this was totally me too. I was constantly checking up on everything, texts, emails, social media, basically tracking their every move. I'd always wonder who they were talking to or why they didn't reply fast enough. It's honestly so draining. I didn't realize how bad it was until they called me out on it, and I finally saw how much trust one was destroying without even realizing it. If you're doing this, just know you're killing the vibe. Trust is everything. If you don't have that, you don't have a relationship.
I was the opposite, honestly. I would be so chill and trusting that it almost made me seem uninterested or disconnected. I had a boyfriend once who didn't give me nearly as much trust as I gave him, and it led to all kinds of unnecessary drama. It made me realize, trust is a two-way street. You can't just expect someone to hand it to you if you're not offering it in return. You have to be open, consistent, and respectful of each other's space. Relationships thrive on mutual respect and trust. It's not something you demand, it's something you earn.
Let's talk about emotional baggage, and how it can totally mess up your relationship if you don't deal with it. Listen, we all have a past, right? We all carry things from previous relationships, childhood experiences, or just stuff we've been through that shapes how we act in a new relationship. And I totally get it, you don't want to bring that baggage with you. But the truth is, if you don't address it, it will follow you. I learned this the hard way. I didn't realize how much of my past was affecting the way I was behaving until I started acting a little crazy in a new relationship. Like, I'd be so paranoid about being abandoned because of stuff from my last relationship. I'd overreact to small things, and that caused so many unnecessary fights. I'd accuse my new partner of doing things that hadn't even happened yet, just because my past made me think it would. It wasn't their fault, but I kept dragging all that old stuff into the present. The thing is, if you're constantly bringing up past issues and making them your partner's problem, you're not giving them a fair chance to prove themselves. You gotta deal with your own baggage, and that might mean some tough self-reflection and healing before jumping into something new.
Man, this hits hard. I had so much emotional baggage. It was like I was carrying a whole suitcase of insecurities into every relationship. My ex would do something totally harmless, and I'd just flip out thinking she was doing it to hurt me. Because of stuff that had happened before, it wasn't her fault, and I ended up pushing her away. The worst part? I didn't even realize I was doing it until it was too late. I've had to work on myself since then. Therapy helped, and so did just being honest with myself about my fears. It's not easy, but you gotta do the work or you'll keep repeating the same mistakes.
I feel that so much. I was in a toxic relationship before, and when I got into a new one, I didn't even realize how much of that mess I was dragging with me. I'd get upset over things that didn't make sense. Like my partner texting someone else, and I'd lose my mind. I realized it wasn't about him. It was about my trust issues from my past. I had to let go of that stuff, but it wasn't easy. I had to sit with my emotions and work through it, or I would have kept sabotaging every relationship. It's hard, but so worth it.
Preach. I was in a similar situation. I thought I was just protecting myself by being super cautious, but all it did was create walls between me and the people I was dating. The minute I stopped holding on to my past and started dealing with my issues, I noticed a change. Relationships became healthier. I'm not saying it's all rainbows and butterflies, but the moment I took responsibility for my past and stopped projecting it onto someone else, things got so much clearer.
And what advice can you give for people who are just starting a relationship? Maybe your advice will help someone. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel not to miss many more interesting videos. Share your opinion in the comments about the video.